Hello, my name is Gabriel and Icon of the Charity Medical Foundation and International Trade Incorporated. Today, the topic of my presentation will be the universal balance and Adonai, Elohim, YahWeh. Again, I will repeat, the topic of my presentation today will be the universal balance and Adonai, Elohim, YahWeh. Before further ado, I would like to introduce myself again once more. Gabriel and Icon of the ComFit Global Consulting and International Trade Incorporated, CMFIT, for medical, pharmaceutical, and innovative technology. Ich heiße Gabriel Dicon of ComFit Global Consulting. Este Gabriel Dicon of the Charity Medical Foundation and International Trade Incorporated. Ni hao, bonjour, and bonjour, bonsoir to many people around the world. And I can translate in French, Gabriel Dicon de la Charité Médicale et l'Innovation Technologique et Pharmaceutique. I would like to start the process by just saying true peace, shalom and salam to everyone around the world, and ni hao to my fellow Chinese. From Mr. Dicon of the ComFit Medical Foundation. Now, at this moment, the time is about to start. We will start with the greatness of the higher intelligence, the owner of this entire universe, observing, metering every movement of its creation. That's the reason why I spoke today about the universal balance and Adonai, Elohim, YahWeh. I never really used the Adonai, but Adonai will be introduced today, and I will explain to you what it is and why that. Why is the universal balance in accordance to the integration of our physical world, the blessing, the lack of money, social interactions, relationship among people, and the way of our civilizations. I will use global ecology, metaphysical algorithms, as well as sacred mathematics and sacred philosophy, engineering, science to explain my term. So I just want you to bear with me. I'm also going to be tackling and talking about the issue of health. I will target a little bit of the genome code, as well as the meta code that translate to the DNA code of the spiritual genome expression when I introduce the spiritual technology illustration. Alright, so stand with me. It cannot stop to cover. It comes straight from the heavens, and through telepathy I am capable of sharing that information with you. So for those who have existed in this era in which I exist, it's pretty much their blessing, I can say. So I don't have billions of dollars for people to respect me. See, me when I'm walking on the street, people respect me. I don't request for respect, but I want people to know. In our world today, we respect people more about, based on what they possess, instead of who they are. And it's a very distortions into the truth. Okay, the spiritual realm don't function like that. If you think like that today, right now, I don't care if you're a pastor, I don't care if you're an imam or a priest or a rabbi or a believer in God, or believer in the Holy Spirit, or the cosmic intelligence, the universal forces, or you are a believer of Jesus Christ, if you think like that, you do not know God, as well as you do not know how the universe functions. You do not know Jesus Christ. The spiritual world do not see people based on what they possess. They are beyond that. They pass that level. What is more important that translates to the spiritual world is your character and who you truly are from within. When you have the faculty of commensurating your outer body to your inner body, which is your physical body, to your internal body, as well as your conscience to your subconscious, you are turning into the true intelligence, and you are manifesting your true self, your true I am, which is within you. But today, because we have what I call the social influences, people have the tendency of trying to not be who they truly are from within. And sometimes they get confused when a person comes truly and say the person is not acting who he is. Now, when a person acts the way he is, he do not come back to his word, because he knows that's the truth. The spiritual world don't function like the materialistic world. The spiritual world commands the materialistic world. Before anything happened in our visual world, it happened in the spiritual world. The blessing you have, the lack of money you have, the small job you have, the small money you make is already metered, is controlled by God system accordingly through spiritual route and spiritual technology. I'll explain to you your aura. Your aura is pretty much everything that connects you to the spiritual realm. Your aura is composed, your aura reflects what is called an auric field. It's like the magnetic field. People might think that, they can do something to you and think, no. They don't even know what they're doing. Because when you cannot touch the subconscious, anything is still there. When I tap right now, people might be thinking that I do something else, but it's just because of knowledge, because of who you are. You pass over all of the stuff. Your aura that you possess have 4 different body. You have your physical body, who have 12 entrances of blessing, and it does have your astral body, which is composed of the 7 vital center, where you receive all the blessing, small job, the woman, that was meant for you, and the kids, the luck in your life, better made professional opportunity. It comes from that. It comes from the stars that influence your birth, and it enter through that. So now the third body is your mental body, which is your subconscious. So when your conscience, which is your natural mind, synchronize with your subconscious, which is your spiritual mind, which is the mind of your inner soul, of your true self, of who you are, you now can connect into the spiritual body, which is the metaphysical world, the spiritual world. Then you are connected with the world in which God resides and control. Our world is integrated into the spiritual world that commanded. So the spiritual world don't function as the materialistic world, because they are both. They are looking for simplistic things that we do not like here. The spiritual world is more concerned about the energy movement, the energy balance, and rationality and true justice. Yes, they understand about the difficulty, but they place those difficulty in your face. You know, and that's the point people don't comprehend. The difficulty that you have are already planned. You know, so they place it in your in front of you, and they're looking for you to make decision for options, and they will assist you into those options to solve it, because that's how the spiritual world functions. Difficulty and challenges to ascend into the world. That's how it goes. In this world, what happened? You have to work hard. You have to go to school. You have to invent something in order for you to have some money or to have a better life if opportunity happen. But because of the irrationality of our justice, because of the impurity of our morality, sometimes it's not a linear equation. It's not a linear model. But over there in the spiritual world, it's not such a thing like that. Everything is in perfect harmony. It means you have the true justice and true rationality of justice. It means if you suffer in the spiritual world, it is like you're walking into prosperity and ascending in the spiritual world. You just have to know exactly what it is and follow the normal universal law and principle and standard and rules put in place by Jesus Christ for those who believe in Him, God for those who believe in Him, and the universal intelligence for those who follow the cosmic forces, cosmic laws. So if you are there thinking that somebody have to have big money, I mean if Bill Gates show in front of you, you respect him more than a person that don't have that, you're making a big mistake. Because that person that don't have that 3 million, whatever it is, might be very more important in the eyes of God than that person that have all that money. There's no relationship. What a person have was already given for a purpose. It have nothing to do with his relationship to God, with God. It have nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. And people say it does depend of your incarnation and the residual of your karma that you brought into this new existence. But it does have nothing. It does not have anything to do with your relationship with the Creator, the absolute Creator, the power of all. He created everything, and He used what is called today spiritual technology to control through His higher magnetized intelligence. He have the faculty of controlling every single movement of its creation. I can say up to a small fumet on the ground. He control all of it. So that's what He does. The universal intelligence. So through the soul particle in which He is formed, God is a spiritual being. Because the spiritual being is above the human being, it does possess the characteristic of a human form within Him. That's how we were created, because He possesses it. It's a lower level of His creation. That's the reason why we are lower civilization compared to the civilization. That's the reason why they call it like that. The lower being the earthly people, the lower civilization, the lower intelligence, because we derive from them. We derive from God. And we have to acknowledge it, because there are people today who have used sacred mathematics and scientific technology to prove the existence of God by discovering the soul particle from metacode. Metacode are pretty much like genome code for the spiritual genome expression or transcriptions from your core spiritual structure that I have explained before at the primordial thought, in which all other souls derive from in all different journey in order for a person to reach perfection. So to prove you that the universal balance exists, that God used balance to bring everything into harmony so that it can function accordingly, I will talk today about Jesus Christ. Sometimes life can knock you down. It'll knock you down and you get back up. It knock you down, knock you down. Sometimes life can knock you down. It will knock you down and you get back up. It'll knock you down, knock you down. Well, let me drink a little bit of my toxin-free water. So when I introduce today Jesus Christ, it is for a reason. Who is that person that God used as a balance to balance stuff? It is a pure, because I've been talking about it, people like God is a God of balance. I've been saying that. I will use the same Jesus Christ, more popular, to prove you that he was used to balance. When you said he was used for the propitiation to our sin. Propitiation means sacrifice to our sin. It means we have a lot of debt, right? We have a lot of debt from the infinite past to the delving future into the to the distant, distant past, delving present and far future that are already seen. Now he came in place because God have to balance the equation to put it back to zero. Because when I talk about equilibrium, balance, universal law is a universal law of balance that integrates in our life. People are talking about, it's talking crazy stuff. But you go and pray that Jesus Christ, he was used to balance it. When you're saying you get saved and you're talking about sanctification and salvation, is about balancing the equation by eradicating and erasing all your sins so they can come back to zero. That's balance. See, I was talking about the balance long time ago, and I was looking for something that's practical, that people know that God is a God of balance. When I was saying to people, everything you do will be balanced, they think I'm kidding. Everything you do, people said, people will live in other universe that God created. It's not written in the Bible. The Bible is the foundation only for this earth, so that people can listen to God, believe in God without asking too much question. That's the only reason the Bible was put in place. It was not put in place because they want you to know everything. You don't need to know everything, because you will never comprehend the knowledge you have. You will never comprehend how it works. But it is a balance to create peace into this earth and making sure that people can relate to God through religion. Because religion is a characteristic of his higher intelligence and higher being. That's the only reason. But God is more than that. And there's more out there. If those people out there can be able to tell you that he is a God of balance and they follow his universal law and structure accordingly with all measurements and efficiency, it would tell, it's telling you that don't play. Don't try to play, because he balanced everything, every single thing. That is his creation. Everything that you see that we're talking about was created by him. Either he was appointed, this came from his creation. So you cannot try to go over to the higher power beyond God and say, I want a more bigger power. I want to take possession of this. They will tell you, go talk to your master, the person who created you. That's the reason why I introduced today Adonai. Adonai means Lord. Adonai means in English Lord. It is a Hebrew translation of Lord. Because people have to know that God is the master of this universe, of all the universe. So he controls everything. Everything we own belongs to him. We are managing it. We possess nothing. We came in this earth with nothing. We're going to live with nothing. This is a reality and a practicality. There's nothing somebody else will come and show. It is the proof and simple proof that he is in control. He will sit in that chair for generation to generation into the infinity, even after the infinity, and people will come in this earth and people will go. He's still going to be there. So it's a proof that we are just the manager of stuff living in this earth, and he gives us those stuff as commodity to live. As support, I can say. Commodity or support to live in order for us to survive. It's like you go in a desert. You don't know what's going to happen. Somebody gave you support. So this is exactly what you need, because I've been there. That's exactly what, and then you go there so that you can survive. That's the same thing. You don't possess it. And then when you get there, he tell you, when you get to your location, give it to somebody else. He give you exactly where you have to give it. And at the end, it's not belong to you. So when you live in this earth, what happened? You do your life, and then God send people in your life who are kids. I call them people because it is the people that he manufactured, and he send them in your life so that they can do their own journey. And then when you work harder, what happened? He give you stuff and you pass it on to them, and then your part is over. Bye bye. I'll see you maybe in heaven if I get there too. That's how it is. Those folks that you see coming in your life, they look like you, but they are in their own destiny according to God's plan. And what you do, you're going to work hard, and at the end of the day, when your time is up, you're going to take it, pass it away to them. That's why it's been doing. That's how it's been, been happening for all the centuries, over and over, and that's going to be like that for forever. So we possess nothing. We have nothing. We are here as managers of things that God gave us. It comes to those routes that I mentioned, those chakra, those spiritual pathway in which they inject those blessings, and they meter those blessings, and they choose those who have to have more based on the previous existence. And there are those that they already meter what they're going to have. They're going to have a normal life. They're going to have normal life according to the stars, the way it was designed. So I'm saying to people, if you waste your time respecting people because of what they possess, you are like going to hell without knowing that you're going to hell. Because it is not the pathway into heaven. It is not the pathway even into saving yourself. Who people are the truth in which they can build a good relationship with the divine being. You do not have such ability if it was not given to you. People say do not worship different God. Everybody say that. Don't worship a different God. You don't worship different God. There are people who listen into music who idealize some star more than God. They are your God. There are people that they worship money. What do they do? Every single time they have to count money. If they don't do that, they have some sickness. They need some anti-fever group, money drugs. That's your God. There are people that if he doesn't drive in a car that have some stuff on it, he will be sick. That's your God. There are people that if they don't have 10 pack of cigarette knocked down a day, they will not sit down. That's your God. There are people that if they don't drink a certain amount of thing, they will not sit down. That's your God. There are people that if they don't have sex into a certain level, they will not be satisfied. That's your God. So you are worshiping other God. You have violated the first law that make you disqualified for any other law. Period. Because he is the principle of everything. If you don't worship him, nothing else follow. He created this universe. You don't worship him, disregard any other thing. It is very simple. He's the one who created this earth. He's the one who created everything. He's the one who gave you money for you to eat. He was the one who makes sure that you have the position you have. He's the one who makes sure that you are in that position. You might think that you're too much intelligent, that you work so hard that you got there. But trust me, many people wanted to do like you. They didn't get there. If you can answer that contrast, maybe you'll find out exactly what I'm talking about. So if you're there, it's because it was meant for you to be there. It's very simple. We are managing stuff. People are observing material like more than the God. And they live in the Holy Almighty, the Master. Let me tell you, Lucifer never liked to call God Adonai, because when he called God Adonai, he's saying, you own me. God owns all of us, including everything we possess, computer, everything. He owns everything you have. Everything. He owns your wife, he owns your kid, he owns everything you have. I don't have to say respect to people. It is God. He's the one who lives your life. Why do I have to say respect to you? He's the one who gave you life. He can say, this one is up to him. It's over for him today. It's going to be over. There's nothing going to come. Nobody going to come and tell him, please. It's over. Jesus Christ can come and vouch for you. But if God say, it is done, it is done. Over. There's nothing Jesus Christ will do for you. If Jesus Christ come and vouch for a person and God say, that's my decision, he will stand there. That's the reality in the Holy Trinity. Because he created everything. Everything we see, that's his creation. That's the reason why anyone who reaches a certain level in the spiritual realm, anything that he know is out of his power, if he's a true person, a true being who have integrity, he will tell you, this is above and beyond my power. You have to refer this into the creator of everything. If somebody said that to you, know that you have a true friend, or you have met a true being, somebody will have integrity. Because there are situations that people face here that only God can solve it. He have people that he bestowed power to solve problem that he control from beyond. But there are certain situations that there's nothing you can do other than reaching out to him. Or he can say, hard to it. You have to be patient. You have to suffer more, and I will get to him later. But I will make him survive into that time come. That's the way he functions. The universal balance. God sent Jesus Christ. In year 14, sometime in June of year 14, Augustus Caesar wake up in the morning. Before that, he signed a decree. Every single person who lived within the territory of the Roman Empire have to census themselves. And everyone who is pregnant have to register that. Never happened before. But he wake up exactly when Mary was pregnant with Jesus. That's exactly what it is. Mary was pregnant with Jesus. Right? And Joseph have to go. Everything already predetermined. It's like you have a puzzle. People who play the puzzle of higher integer and derivation in order for the person to get an answer. Like God have already all the scenario, and he work every combination to reach the exact answer that you need. That's how he works his stuff. So he preview everything. Augustus Caesar wake up, emperor. He say, I want everybody to register. Year 14 AD, and you have Mary pregnant 6 months. 6 months before his birth, I mean 3 months pregnant, and they're going. They registered in the town of Judea, which is in Bethlehem, and that's how they know, because it was recorded. And 6 months after, he was born. So if this month was the month he was born, it means if you go 6 months after the month he was born, the month they went there to register was June, which is actually the 6th month. I don't know, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. So that's what they know. So he was born actually in 14 AD. Right, 14 AD. Propitiation of our sin, to balance it. Lucifer didn't know exactly that God gonna do that. That God gonna come in flesh. to do that. I mean, one of the characteristics of God is metacode, superior metacode that is more powerful. When I say that Jesus Christ is equal to God in his being, it means in its his metacodic spiritual transcription and translations. Lucifer didn't know that God can do that, come himself to do that. That was the last thing. He probably didn't have that in his mind. So that's what he did to compensate the deal. But I can assure you that God do have advisors, people with whom he came along with in that word, above the word that he even created himself in his imagination. And no one within the creation of his imagination have access to that word, because he's the one who comes from there. Only those advisors who advise him. He was told, this is the thing. You came up with your imagination, your creation. You the one who have to solve it. There's nothing we can do. Many people have that in their family, right? Remember when one of the first son of Jacob, he have a problem. He came to see Jacob. He said to Jacob, Father, that's me right here. I have a problem. I have a wife. I have a woman that every time she married my first son, the first son died. I gave him my other son. My older son died. I don't know what to do. He had that problem at the end. She ended up to be like a prostitute, and then he ended up sleeping with her, and then she got pregnant. But he came and said to Jacob and said that, and Jacob said to him, you left my camp and you went to form your own family. You are responsible now. Go and take care of it. That's what he told him. It is the same thing those advisors say to God. You are responsible for this creation. And a man of integrity like he is, higher intelligence and superior force, absolute power, they say to him, you are the one responsible for your creation. So you are the one who have to fix the problem. That's how it is. You don't see stuff here. You think that is only from everything we do here is a mirror of above. It happened before. That's how those 24, those 12 older people that you see when you go there in his throne, the throne of meetings, when they have meetings, you created this, you created all of this that we see based on the power that was given to you. You take care of it. And he said, yes, indeed, I will. And that's how Jesus Christ came in place. And Lucifer didn't know that. Lucifer thought that he's going to use another man, and he knew, I know those men. They're very scared. They massively scared. When I'm gonna put suffering on them, they will let go. They'll start talking crazy stuff, and then they're just gonna disappear. Because he knows how we are. And God said, oh yeah, I created you. I know what you may not. So he sent someone that surprised Lucifer itself. And Lucifer didn't know the end game until after he died. It means when his soul left his body, that's when Lucifer knew that, so that's what this was about. So when Jesus Christ was doing all of this, Lucifer was saying to you, you're foolish. You're taking all these for humankind. Because he could not realize, because the higher force is behind, looking, hiding some information to Lucifer, so he does not know. So what are you taking this for all humanity? Dying on the trees, the tree of life, where the power was first taken away. Compensation, balance must be made to compensate that debt that was given into Lucifer. It means Lucifer was taken into a situation where he gave the power back without knowing. He laid that golden human flesh back into the tree, compensating the power he have spiritually, giving back the power he took during the first Adam without knowing. So now Jesus Christ is going, he's dying, and Lucifer is there in the crowd observing him. And Jesus Christ is walking, he can see the spiritual world, and he can see Lucifer looking at him. And Lucifer is stunned. So Jesus Christ is functioning, he's going, he's walking. He's going with the cross on his shoulder, carrying the weight. That cross that he was carrying was the weight of the word. So he's going. The spiritual world, that's what it is, ascending. And he's observing because he was already higher spiritually, so he can see the spiritual world when God wanted. Because God can open your spiritual eyes and close the spiritual eyes of other people, and you can see the spiritual world as well as the materialistic world. He can do that. Okay, so, or he can open your spiritual ear that you can hear what's going on beyond the scene. So when Jesus Christ died, Lucifer said, we have to keep his soul down here, because I do not know who this person is. That's where the battle happened. When you saw this, the story saying that the entire Jerusalem area became clouded and dark, that was the army of angels ready to come to get his soul. And you have dark forces of, demons. Those are malevolent angel against benevolent angel fighting. And that fight occurred just after the soul of Jesus Christ left his body. And you have the earthquake happen. That's what happened. And you have, he was shaking for about 1 to 2 minutes, and his body was lifted up, because evil force will always gonna be losers at the end. They will have the momentum, but they will lose at the end. That's the how the equation is made. The only certainty about that equation is that they're always gonna lose at the end. That's why it is. They're always gonna lose at the end. It's a very striking story, right? But between that, you're gonna go to a very immense suffering. That even when they're going to tell you they're going to lose at the end, you're going to be like, I don't believe in it. But they're always going to lose at the end. That's what happened. So the power was balanced. And when it happened, Jesus Christ ascended. Now, the wisest, the advisors of God say, now, believe the deal is good. We have equilibrium. Now, everyone, God said, everyone who will live a life like Jesus Christ will be able to rebuke Lucifer's oppression. But it will not come so simple like people think. Like people say that Jesus Christ said, anyone who gonna believe in me, to follow me, will never see darkness, or will always be well, whatever you can think of it. Whatever you can think of it. Or whoever will follow me will be saved. But remember, Jesus Christ was always speaking in parable. What he meant was this: everyone who will live a life like me, everyone who will live a life like me, if you live a life like Jesus, you don't have to worry about being saved, because you will be automatically saved. But what he said was just a reminder. It was just a reminder. You live a life like him, you'll be saved. So how the balance happen? The balance happened this way. When a person live a life like him, it means you go to the process of sanctification that have 3 stages. You go to the process of salvation. Sorry about that. That have 3 stages: sanctification, redemptions, and justification. And then you cannot glorify through from being saved. I mean, you go to the process of sanctification, you start living a life like him, you accept God's principles and the law, and you live an humble life. He came and lived here, that God in flesh. God in flesh came here in this earth. He lived here as the most poorest person ever. Ever. He didn't have a place to live. He didn't have a house. He didn't have even the simple. He didn't even have the simple method of transportation, which was either a horse or something else. He had to borrow that from somebody. That is God in human flesh. In the human flesh. I mean, in human flesh. He came in this earth. He didn't have any bank account. He didn't have a house. He didn't have the simplest method of transportation that you can translate today as a bike in our life today. He didn't even have a bike. Even a bike. I can assure you that if Jesus Christ was living in this life today, for that purpose, I can tell you that we will not do anything different than what the Romans have done. I can promise you that. Because we like materialism. We like to honor ourselves. What will prove us that we can do different than what the people during the Roman time have done? They did the same thing. They looked the guy. He claimed himself to be Messiah, a deliverer of the Jew. Alright? Herod was raised in a house of Caesar. He grew up with Tiberius, the adopted son of Julius Augustus, Caesar, Octavian, Caesar. You're gonna come and talk, you are the deliverer of who? Where did this person come from? We don't know him in this bloodline. Herod was over there. He was formed as Romans, as a good politician, and they implanted him to control the Jew. That's what it was. So you come and say that you are who? The Savior, the Messiah. In the meantime, God turned things around and he tightened the heart of the Jew and said, rejected him. And the guy come in, who? A Messiah of who? Us? We don't think so. They look the guy. He's not a theologian. He didn't went to higher education. He doesn't have a house. He doesn't have even a big name. He's talking about stuff that he want to change what the Abraham, the Moses have written, in which the covenant was written. It was a very harsh moment for that man. So you want to come and convince people that you are a Messiah, a deliverer of the Jew. Deliverer? No, we don't think God can function like that. And you come and say, if you see me, you see God? You are God? You can imagine how those people were in that time. Jesus Christ was driving them crazy with his new ideology and stuff. I mean, they were crazy. I mean, when they look at him and what he was talking, they were just overwhelmed by what he was saying. And sometimes they have to say that's blasphemy, you know. And then he came and read. He went to the synagogue and started reading. He read the entire Old Testament, and he said, "It is done." He closed it. What? It is done? So you are the Messiah then? If it is done, because that it is done if the Messiah come. Now, this is not possible. We have to get rid of this person. He's a bad piece for our civilization and progress. So he gotta go. There are many people here today in our society. When somebody is thinking otherwise than them, he gotta go. When somebody is different than them, he gotta go. When somebody, you are acting exactly like those people, but every single day you go to church. We serve a God who don't differentiate people by their race. We don't differentiate people by their gender. We don't differentiate people by who they come from. He's a God that sees everyone equally. There is someone who was very intelligent who served this nation. He came and said, things that are equal to the same thing are equal one another. Very simple correlations. It is a law that is applied to physics. It is a law that is applied to universal principle. It is a law that is applied to everything. He said that. How come he gonna come and tell me that you are a human being? I am a human being. But somehow we are not equal to each other. How do that make sense? Either I am a human something and you are a human being. Therefore, I will understand. We are not equal. Alright? Baby, this is a thing that people are playing game with religion, thinking that they understand it well and pointing hand on other people that they don't understand. But you don't understand the Bible that you have, even the message that is written in there. They call Jesus Christ somebody who practicing magic to do his stuff. He was doing stuff that was not done before. Every time that somebody comes with things that were never done before, different, he got to go. It's different, he got to go. It tells how we have to function. If that's the way we have to function, we are not done different, or we have not even learned from what is written in the Bible. For those who believe in. Or you can even put Jesus Christ aside. Talk about God, the God of love. If you have to be forgiving, you have to be able to forgive other people. It is applied even to myself. If I stay here to you and talking to you and say to you that if you have to be forgiving, you have to forgive other people. I mean, if I don't forgive people, I don't expect to be forgiving from the heavens. Myself. So you have to be able to forgive. You have to be able to forgive other people. Whatever it is that we're holding. And that Jesus Christ, the law of balance, was done. Why do God have to do that? To put a scenario to bring things to harmony. Matter of fact, when you go to the process of sanctification, that's where you're in process of becoming a true Christian, a true follower. You live a life like Jesus Christ. That is called sanctification process. Any other explanation people are going to give you is this is it. Living a life like Jesus Christ, that is the process of sanctification. Now, when you reach a certain level through that process of sanctification, you are redeemed. It means the claim and the point that Jesus Christ has carried for you will be given into your account. That is the law of balance right here. The balancing. You're seeing in everything into that time to bring back to zero. When it's brought back to zero, then God will consider you as a righteous. When you are considered a righteous, you are justified by God. Then when you are justified, you are then saved. People don't get it. Anyone who gonna believe in Jesus Christ is saved. Who told you it's so simple like that? Because even Lucifer can say the same thing. You never want to change. You see Lucifer in there. Maybe when you dance in Jesus Christ, he's also saying the same thing. Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. He's saying the same thing. Matter of fact, Lucifer was walking along Jesus Christ. He was a follower of Jesus Christ as well. You didn't know that? When Judah was there around Jesus Christ, he was sitting close to Jesus Christ. Just look at it. Judah is sitting there. And Jesus Christ will come and say, everyone who will follow me will be saved. And people think it's just that word. Judah is sitting right there. And Jesus Christ have to kiss him and say, go and finish what you started. And people will say, interpret what Jesus Christ say. Who will follow me and believe in me is safe. It's not simple. That's not exactly what he meant. That is in parable. Judah didn't have the same standard principle and understanding of Jesus Christ. He thought that Jesus Christ was an imposter at that time. Somebody came from somewhere, start talking about ideology of changing the world, and they don't see that happening. Not today that people have Facebook. Oh, somebody tried to kill me. Everybody knows. That time, you're done. You're done. If somebody don't write your story, never known before. End of the story. Back then, it was just like that. More fearful than ever. You think that people were hiding? There, people were really hiding. And in fact, they didn't even know people's faces because, no picture will not have to. Somebody just have to move from one town to another town and give a different name. I'm called something. End of the story. That's how John was able to survive. John survived how? Nobody knew his name. They knew that he's the only one that they didn't kill, but they didn't know if he lived or he was there with them. They catch him, but they was not quite sure who was that John. But he was there with them. Because they didn't have his picture. They need to have people to say that is him. Or him saying himself 2 times, 3 times, or 2 times, or 1 time, or 2 times, or 3 times, or 4 times, that's me. Therefore they say, oh, that's him. They kill him. That's how that's how they used to do stuff. They come here to try to arrest you. Are you John? No, I'm not. Who's John then? Do some interrogation and they let go. Even if you're John, they don't have any proof. If they really wanted to make sure, they can just arrest you and go with you, and later on they find out, they let you go. So the law of balance. Everything that we do is balanced accordingly. So Jesus Christ, born in year 14. And today people will be celebrating his birth again, coming forward. But that's not the point. The point is how many people are living a life like him, that you want to treat the other people the way you want to be treated, and you're sure that you will be compensated in time in that kingdom. People who don't believe that kingdom exists. There are many people today that they have seen the proof that yes, that kingdom exists. If we have to live any religion that exists into this earth today, we're talking about different name of God. YahWeh. They're talking about YahWeh, YahWeh. Your provider. Rapha, your healer. And Setkenu, the righteous. Shalom, perfect peace. Makadash, the sanctifier. Nissi, love and protector. Ra, the shepherd. Shama, everywhere. And El Elyon, of the creator of all souls. So you have all of those attributes. Those are actually the characteristics of what they can do. That's what it is. The attribute of what they can do. Provisions. You possess stuff. God is there. Alcohol is not your remedy. Drugs is not your remedy. Sex is not your remedy. What is your remedy? Is God who created you. It's above all. It's the absolute power. He will answer accordingly in time. But it must go through action of suffering. You must be able to accept suffering. Suffering is very painful to us because we are in flesh. But you must accept suffering if you want to walk with God. Jesus Christ's story was not a mistake. He accepted suffering. His story was not also a joke. It was not something like a simple story. It was harsh. It was thrill. I would like people to go and watch the movie of Moses that is coming. It's not actually called Moses. It's called Exodus, the King and God. The movie is coming. I don't know when, but it's coming pretty soon. I want people to go and watch it to see how harsh it was, the reality. Or when people wanted to walk with God, you find the reality like this. They told you about the name of God. You might even curse his name because of the pain and suffering that you're receiving from inside, that he's allowing to happen, because everything that happened to you, he's the one who give the let go. He can let Lucifer do his work on you by managing the level of suffering. And that's enough. That's enough. In order for you to transform you into a spiritual setting in which he would like you to be, to proceed into his purpose. It is lost for Lucifer. It is lost for him. But what Lucifer is doing, he's trying to get as much soul as possible so that he can also be a leader in his suffering down there. Whatever happened, he will be leading soul that decided to do the life accordingly, a different way than the life that God have put in place for them in this life. They will be commanded by this fella in hell for eternity. That's what's going to happen. So what he's doing today is just disturbance. See what I mean? It's just like a disturbance. It's like a disturbance in God's plan and process. Sometimes when you say that you come up with a plan and you become set up with your own plan, that there's nothing else you can do really to that person or to that being because of who you are, into a certain thing happen. Many people have to suffer and go along. Because that's exactly what it is. Lucifer is saying, if you are the God that you say you are, you can do this. You say you have power, you cannot come and do this. Things have to be balanced to show your power. And we have to go through the process of suffering. The process of suffering and the process of balance. And that's where time becomes important. Because when you are defeated, Lucifer, what happens next is that Lucifer will leave you alone, because God will put a barrier and say, I've given you time enough for this person, and he shows his heart for me. He shows that his integrity to me, that he can stand for me even to death. So your time is over. And that's it. And Lucifer start looking for somebody else. Who will be next? Who will be next year? Who will be next? Who will be next? This one. That's how it works. He come up and there are opportunities that show up, and people get tempted. The person look the suffering and said, oh man, I gotta do this. And that's what people get. That's a function. Because you know one thing sure, that we don't like suffering. We hate suffering. We don't want it. So that's his point. He tapped into suffering. He have two people that he loved the most. Those who suffer the most, and those who are wealthy the most. Because those are the one that can make mistake quicker. They're gonna say, what? Yes. Because this is the point. Unless you're not too much mature. Some of them are very mature. When you are in deep suffering, you are suffering high, very, very heavily. It is easy for you to make decisions based on emotion. Very, very easy to make decision. And every single time that possibility can show up that will be a remedy, even if it's temporarily, you make decision very quick. And that's how Lucifer gained his territory on people. When you're wealthy, it is easy for you to also make decision, because you believe that you can recover from it most of the time. So that's why it's very important to make sure that you put God first. You put God first, and then when you go to process, the balance will always happen. Even if you get tempted, the balance will always come through, and you will be able to recover. Repentance is something between you and God. Your repentance have to go in through the process of sanctification, not by mouth. You have to transform your life from inside out, not by mouth. That process, that's a long time ago thing. You can do it. Yes, I'm not changing anything here, but I'm saying it must be accompanied with your action. Through the process of sanctification from inside out. I mean, if you say today, I will not hurt people anymore. You just don't gonna sit there and say that I will not hurt people, hurt people anymore, or putting toxin on people's food anymore. What you will do, you will not do it anymore. That's all. So it's not by saying I don't gonna do this, or I don't gonna hurt, or I'm gonna respect. No, you do it. That's the proof of who you became. Yes, we are praying to the same God. Yes, it's the same God who created every single one. People will ask question, why do God will create certain people with certain blessing and that are higher than other people? Those are questions that people have to ask, but they should not see it that way. Every single one of its creation is blessed. But when you waste your time looking about the blessing of other people and looking about your blessing, that's where problems start. Because you also have the blessing, you just have to look into it. But remember, every single blessing comes with enormous responsibility. And it depends on the level of the blessing. Jesus Christ have a blessing of healing, a blessing of seeing the other world, but his responsibility was exactly equal to the kind of blessing he can do. That is the God of balance. Your blessing comes with responsibility. So people who are looking for blessing that God gave them, I promise you, please be content with what you have. Just be content with what you have and use it like that. Because they are blessing that you see that God gave to people have enormous responsibility. Most of the time, enormous suffering. I am walking, I am singing. I am walking and I am singing. Everybody looking at me down. Everybody looking at me down. I am walking and I'm singing. I am going and I'm singing. See, you have people out there. I go to the store, huh? Alright? I go to the store. I am in a store. I don't know who's telling these people stories. But people have some story. I come in the store fresh as you can see me. But people have some ideology. I don't know if they have, maybe I live in a different world. Maybe they have a different kind of TV, or they have different kind of phones, or different kind of watch. And they look at me like they have an ideology of me. But when they look at me, they see something different. That's not actually what they have in the picture, in their mind. And they like, all right. I go to the counter and I just have to start a simple thing that look like he might not have any money, and everybody say, So it means what they're saying is, well, that's what we think of. What makes you think like that? I just told you, gave you the story of Jesus Christ, of God in flesh coming here, living a life, a humble life. Why do a person like me, who have all his faculty, I will take my food in my house, burn my gas, go to a store, take stuff from the shelf, hold it in my arm, go into the counter, not to pay it? Please, the day you're going to see it, I don't care what I say, call 911 so that they can send me in a mental institution for mental evaluation. because it does not make any sense. Because it happened many occasions. I don't understand people. How do a person like me who reason? First of all, when you have to go to a place, it means that your head is working well, because at least you reach your destination. Second of all, you walk from your car to the store. It means that you know what you're doing. Third of all, you go exactly to a specific place, get what you need, and come into the shell. It means that you are conscious. You have awareness. Now you come around, start looking people and follow direction behind people according to the law. That is full awareness. You come into the counter. You know that the counter, that's what you have to pay. Because if you didn't want to pay, there's another option. You're going to try to go into the door, and then the siren going to go off, and they're gonna come and catch you. So how come people can think? Those people are the one who need some mental evaluation, because they don't even understand their own reasoning. All right? And please, yes, I understand. I have been around. People didn't see me with women around. I didn't walk, around with girlfriend. I didn't do this. Let me tell you who I am. I don't like publicity. I don't like thing. Even when I have my relationship, it is very rare to see me walk with my lady. It is really rare to see me say, I'm going to see. No, I don't do stuff like that. That's my personal life. All right? And I like my personal life to be kept like that. Even if I go out today with somebody who have a name, I'll tell them exactly the way I want to function. I said to you, I don't want to be in those pictures. I don't want to be in those pictures. I want to be there for a couple of seconds. That's it. Privacy. That's the way I function. I have my family today, it's going to be the same thing. Yes, I know people have all those stories, he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. People are so mad. So if you're out there thinking that because you don't see me with somebody, so that for some reason you have some satisfaction because you believe that you have a glimpse of hope that you might with me, please, Dr. Fear will be welcome to talk to you about your mental problems, because that's his hallucination. My mind is wired to something else. With all the respect I have for you, this time I have to say that you have nothing to do with God. It might be indirectly. So if you are there thinking that this guy, he doesn't have any girlfriend, he always sleep by himself, he always listen. I have a 1994 car that I've been driving for a while. It must be changed. Listen, I have some financial situation that I need to fix. It must be taken care of. Listen, I've been living a life in which I have an agenda that I'm supposed to attain and not yet. Listen, I have some health issue that I must make sure that it is controlled and monitored. So I don't know if you believe that your need are my need. Your need might be sex stuff. It is your problem. It is not my priority. Alright? So don't go out there, start judging people because you don't know exactly what's going on in those people's life. I passed the level of sex stuff. I want to tell them, I want to be very, I want to be very certain, very sure with people. And I want people to take me seriously. Because for some reason they don't. And I just want them to take me seriously. When I leave my house, what is in my brain are numbers. Do you understand me very carefully, my dear friend? When I leave my house, what is in my number, in my head, in my head are numbers. Numbers. Okay? Numbers. Genome expressions. God. End of the story. Numbers, I'm talking about money, genome expression, and God. Alright? So, don't think if I came and said to you, how you doing? Or he tried to holler at me. Were you waiting for that? There are many Joe out there that might be interested. Alright? I don't like that kind of misery because it become a problem. Okay? I don't like misery as well. Okay? If I don't like you, I told you I don't. If you don't like me, you say straightforward, I'll say yes, thank you. You know why I say thank you? Because at least I know. But there are people out there, how come I'm gonna go at the end of a store, I see the same person, and I'm going into my path. When I'm going out, I see the same person again going in. Is that a coincidence, or you try to express yourself to me? Now, by curiosity, I don't know who you are. You might be a spy, and I say to you, oh, do I saw you 2 times already? You say to me, I'm not interested. Is that madness? It is sickness. And tomorrow you're going to end up in your room, start crying to God, that God, why do I'm beautiful and I don't have a man? Because you've been acting exactly like that. I want to be very clear. I'm not a serpent. Try to be very nice. Okay? I'm God. He said to Adam and Eve, do not touch this tree. This is the tree of life and knowledge. They thought God was very rude. Because what the serpent came and said to them, well, we can do that. God don't take any order from anyone. You have a right. You can even become like him. That's what people like to listen sometimes. Alright? And when somebody is straightforward with you, that's your best friend. That's somebody who have your best interests. But in today's society, people don't like it. They think it's rude. But really, I know who I am. I can't hide who I am. I do politely. I follow the law and I say the truth. Peace of my mind. Politely. And I move on. There's no way I'm going to see you 2 or 3 times in the store. Even if you do all the probability, for that likelihood to happen is very small. So somehow something's going on. Either you're a spy, either you're looking for me to have a look into you, either you are observing something else. So now if out of my curiosity, I have to find out exactly what's up with this person, and the first thing that come out of your mouth is, I'm not interested, you are there for a mission. But let me tell you, it was the wrong answer. Because first of all, it was not even the question I asked. Second of all, my head have money, genome expressions, and God. So even in secondary, it was wrong. If you have some problem, please, there are many advisors out there. You can call Dr. Phil, he will help you. You can go and see somebody, he will help you. I'm good with what I have. I can be the way I am for years. It will not bother me at all. I want people to know that. I enjoy sleeping the way I sleep. It's peaceful. Instead of sleeping with somebody that are there not for your interest. Alright? Or somebody will have bad intention about you. So I better sleep the way I sleep there peacefully with the Holy Spirit indeed. With tranquility. And I can tell you, I have good sleep. But there are people out there who have what people believe they do, but they don't have that sleep that I have. Alright? That's what happened. I don't. But there are many miserable people out there. Everything they have is, I go out of the store. And every move I don't. Please, people, please. And I'm saying again. Do not fear me. I am not your enemy. I don't go out there for you. I go out there is to do stuff. If I have my money today, listen to me very carefully here. You will not see me outside only if you are lucky. People will be doing grocery for me. Listen to me very carefully. If I have my money today, in order to see me, if you see me, it means maybe God is there with you. If you look close, you see God. Just to tell you, I will be very rare. So when I go into the store doing stuff, and people, first of all, you're not my type, and I'm kind of afraid not to I can say hurt your feelings, and I don't even say anything. But instead of leaving me alone, you start acting like you're too much important. Therefore, you start pissing me off, because first of all, you're not my type, and second of all, you start acting the way that is really crazy. Running like the guy came here for you. So I left my house. I went out there to meet a person that is not my type. What kind of probability is this? Whatever they told you of me, you see a lady out there. I have the money I need to survive. People, please. I am just an humble person, try to live my life discreetly, because I want to make sure that even if I don't have, it is okay. Even if I have, it is fine. Because there are people out there that they show that they have, they did that they don't have, they have to do something. Because they already went out there to try to prove people that they do. I don't want to function in life like that. Alright? I always drive this kind of car. Now I don't know what's gonna happen. Please, I need to have a loan right away so I can get a similar kind of car. No, in my refrigerator there's always some kind of food. Now that I'm running out, I need to find out, so I can impress people who don't even give a damn about me. I better live my life like that. But let me assure you, I have what I need to survive. I don't go into the store. I go to the store, As soon as I do something like 1 minute without paying, everybody start looking up. But you want to look up? So the person who's standing in front of you is crazy. I go to the store, purchase, take stuff in my hand, go into the counter in front of a cashier, not to pay. It means that I'm crazy. There's no other explanation. It means I'm crazy. And as soon as I come close to a person, the person starts thinking that I'm following them. Or if it's a lady, oh, another rapist close to me. Start running. I look at a person, you know my type. Unless somebody injected me with the proper fall or a glove that turned my mind to start looking you is like maybe it's a scenario. Because I don't understand, folks. Sometimes I want to laugh, and sometimes laugh even overwhelm my laugh. Because I look the person, I respect the person as a human being because I work with God. But you're not my type. Start acting like that. And you start running like I'm following you. And then what is wrong with that image? Gabriel and Daikon left his house, went to the store just to meet a person that is not his type. No, I have went to all the women around the world. Now I'm too much satisfied that I have to go now against a person that is not my type. With the person that is not my type. Because I want to explore. What's cracking? Yeah, people can do that. You have different taste and see how I feel. Yeah, it can be possible. I'm not denying that your illusions. But that's not the case. Gabriel and Daikon is leaving his house, having his mind, numbers, genome codes, and God. Because that are the things I have to look into, because those are the things that will solve my problems. I will go out there, have a momentum of 5 minutes, and nothing will change in my wallet. Maybe if I'm lucky, my wallet will probably gonna be minus something. Nothing will change in my situation. What makes you think that I will potentially do that? I will not. Because there's a certain time that when you reach in your life, you become nature, that you start comprehending difference between priority and needs. And there are certain people who are still confused about it. They confused about what they need and what are priority. There are things today in my life that if it do not look into a long run, I'll put it aside. I'm not going to deal with it. Anything that would not be proceed into a long run, I'll put it aside. I'll put it completely aside and move on in my life. Completely, I'll move on in my life, because it is important that you focus on the future. You focus on things that will help you moving forward. And I want people to know that do not look at life of a person 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year and start saying this person's life is over, or because what we have done to him is over. The life of a person is over when God says it is over. No man have to decide the life and destiny and future of a person. because you're just a man. That's the differentiation. If you who believe in God, YahWeh, Elohim, Jehovah, or Allah, if you believe in that God, that's the true God, that's the absolute power, the creator of everything, the God of love, you say to that God that I have all these things. I have the money and I have this, and I believe that you love me more than everyone because of the possession that I have. I want to tell you, you might be talking to him. He doesn't gonna answer to stuff like that because you don't know who he is. You know, somebody staying there praying stuff. God, I have this, I have that, I have that. Let me tell you something. The problem that you have, you praying to a person who actually accepted what happened in your life. You praying to God, telling him about your problems, instead of praying to God about blessing you moving forward despite the problem that he put you on in the first place. Because people think that they end up in a situation just like that. The problem that you're praying, he allowed that to happen. Let me prove you that he allowed that to happen. Why it didn't happen to everyone around the world? It happened only to you. It's because it is meant for something. It is his way. You have to pray. It is your way. It is your will. And I hope that his will and way will always be positive. The only thing you have to hope is that you hope that it will be in commensuration with what you will. That's what you do. Don't go there and start telling him about all the problems, because he's the one who accepted that to happen in your life. Because let me tell you, people are going to say, yes, you can decide to do something and God blocked that to happen. You can try to do something stupid. I'm going today try to rob a bank. This is what God will do. If God don't want that to happen, first of all, He's gonna make sure that you don't find something that is very important to make you go into that location. That thing will be there. You'll be looking for it, and suddenly somebody that you didn't expect gonna come and knock your door. Hello, open. And that person gonna drive you to something, and you're gonna have to say, I'll bring this thing tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. And tomorrow, what happened is somebody proposes something that will make you busy. And that's how you avoid that. If you want to go somewhere and God knows that something will happen and He wants to avoid it, He's going to make sure that you don't find your keys. Or when you wanted to start your car, it doesn't start. Something happened. That's what happened. But I'm not telling people to go and mix up my car like they used to do that. All right. So that's the point here. That everything that happened to you, he accept those things to happen. So people who don't know that, they waste the time start reminding him of what is in their life. No, he's the one who allow it to happen. You have to pray that he use it, like always, in a way that will commensurate with your will. You have to pray for it, because his will are always priority to your will, compared to your will. Many people live their life today based on materialism. Life, money, cars, all of this stuff. They are not the resolve of your happiness. You will do, you can decide to go, you can decide to go to bar, club every night, skip club, whatever you want to do. You will never satisfy. You can decide to have sex, whatever, every day with different women if you want. If you have that option, you will never be satisfied. They can bring you all the beautiful women around the world. They line them up, and they say to you every day, you have a different one of them. You will never be satisfied. You have a momentum, and at a certain point you're gonna say, I'm tired of this. Trust me, my friend. I speak based on experience. Yes, I'm 35, but at this, my life, I'm single. When I look people out there, those women out there, I just laugh. When I look at it, you're doing, my life situation are very complex. When you see me sitting right here, and people are telling me how good night I should have, I just laugh. I've done all this stuff. Not that I've violated the law. I'm single. But according to God's standard, yeah, that might not be right, right appropriate. Because God will better like you to be the way I am, with nobody around, but build up a better relationship with him than try to force situations. That's what it is. They give you all those beautiful women out there. Every night you enjoy every single one of them. You will be unsatisfied at a certain point. They give you all the money you need. At a certain point, you'll be like, God, that's the way it goes. You're going to do everything you want to do. And when that thing are done, you'll be like, what else? That's the way our lives are. Every single time. We have our goal and needs. And when we reach all our goal and need, we become empty. There's nothing else. But when we fix our eyes up into the heavens, we can be fulfilled from that emptiness that we have. You take globe today, tomorrow you need more globes. It make you enjoy for a couple of minutes and goes. You drink the same thing. Tomorrow is gone. You come back into reality. But when you put your eyes up there, it's for eternity. It's forever. It's there. It's going to give you fulfillment. He will give you fulfillment. Those people out there, don't see them there going, walking the red carpet. I don't have a problem with them. All that, thinking that they're smiling because of the pictures, thinking that everything is going well in their life. No, it's not. They have problems as you do. They struggle as you do. Sometimes they have to stay like that and try to pray God. They don't feel God around them. But they have what you are seeking to have. They have that. I'm speaking because I know I'm connected to the Holy Spirit, to the source. You think that what is not possible for God to do to a person? He's the one who's giving wealth to everyone around this world. God can make you be a multi-million-dollar person if He wants in one day. In one day, He can give it to you. But for what purpose if you don't have a right foundation? So He lets you nurture, build a foundation till the right time occurs, so that you can be able to fulfill His purpose accordingly. And you have people out there thinking otherwise. At the end, you're managing only what He gave you. You possess nothing. So when I see people saying, "Oh, I'm worth $34 billion," a normal person will say, I mean, when I say normal, a person who believes in God will say, or in universal law will say, I got lucky with respect to the divine being to manage this amount of money for the purpose of humanity, for the well-being of humanity. That's how a normal person, person who have some good wisdom will respond. We own nothing. If people don't believe in what I say, you will know it when your time arrives to exit this life. Your coffin will not even be longer than the chair that you used to sit at. I mean your living room chairs. And that's it. End of the story. If you like, they can put your money in your coffin, but it will be like trash, pretty much, because that money could have helped people over there in poor country to survive more better. Mean nothing. So we are managing stuff. We are managing stuff. I used to have my car for a very long time, and I look and like, why do I really? God is with me, but what is happening? Why will I change it? But God is always there. He's enjoying the car, the 1994 car, because in God prospection, it is higher. Not to see materialism as too much important. They are necessity to accommodate our daily life, but they are not the source of everything. We are managing stuff, and then we're living our life. The time will come, we're going to leave those stuff behind, and we will go. When you come in this life, you come naked. What happened? They clean you up, and they put you some new clothes on. Right? That's the process. You come naked, they clean you up, and they put you some clothes on. That's how it functions. When you die, they clean you naked, they remove whatever you have on, they clean you up, and they put you some new clothes on, and they put you in a coffin. If I'm saying something that nobody knows, that's a normal process. Right? It is the way it is. So you come in this earth with nothing, you're going to live with nothing. It is the reality. You managing things in the name of the Almighty Adonai, Elohim, YahWeh, will give it to you. And when the time comes, he will make sure that you pass it to somebody else who's going to do his on the purpose that he have already bestowed into that person. And life move on. He move on to next generations. As your generation has passed, you have done your best. That is the certainty that we are only managers. Many people out there working are stealers. They're stealing stuff from God. God is giving you stuff, but you don't know how to pay back to him. You're stealing from him. People are going to say, what? I'm not stealing from God. You do. Because everything you possess, from clothes to food to the money you have in your bank account, that is stuff that he gave you. But people don't give back the 10%. You are stealing from God if you don't do that. So there are many people out there who are stealers. But people don't know that. You have things that a person gave you. And the person is telling you, I need only 10%. You think that the covenant that God had with Jacob, telling Jacob to give him 10%. It was 10% out of what he's giving him. But 10% have to go to the poor. To those who do not have. That's the reason why blessing comes with responsibility. People that God have given financial blessings should bless other people by giving them. Either you like it or not. If you don't do that, you are stealing from God. And if you continue, he gonna balance stuff. He's going to balance stuff. That's what he does. So, if God have a courtroom, we should all be in jail in heavens. Because when they go to all our account, nobody's paying back into the government of heaven, and heaven will go bankrupt. Because people are just keeping stuff. They don't want to give back nothing. Imagine that God was like our government where we depend on the taxes, but people have to give back. Heaven will be bankrupt. I can assure you, bankrupt completely. Because they keep giving to people, and people are just stacking that, look in their account, glorifying their name, walking on red carpets, making their name known, how good they are with big money. And even those who don't have enough that can give don't. So heaven will go bankrupt. So but God, who's the infinite wealthy person, he have all the money around the world, he provide everything to heaven. Everything, the road are in gold, everything is in material that don't even exist here. Marble to gold to diamonds. People are housed, they don't pay any bill. People have food to eat, they don't pay nothing. Everything is free over there. So imagine that you we're not paying anything back to him that he gave us, but he provide all those stuff because he doesn't care. He just want people to balance. I mean, he giving everything we have is him. The nature we saw, the nature we see, it is him who created that. Everything we see is the one who created all that. He gave us imagination to build stuff. Everything that you see come from he communicated with people to make things happen in this earth. But we refuse to give back. We're stealing from him, and that's not good. That's not good. We have to be able to start giving opportunity to people, give to people. When you do that, you're balancing yourself and you have done your best. And you'll be more blessed. That's what it is. So it's time that we start working together. The body function with the genome code that we have from the nucleus that form a specific marker to a DNA molecule of one pair of strands or helix to a chromosomes to a pair of chromosomes to 23 pair of chromosomes that form a cells. In terms of transcriptions, you have those DNA molecules that are in the form of spiral ladder that are twisted, like a ladder that is twisted, like a spiral, with a series of bases that they call markers, that they call base. ATGC. And then when you unwrap them in a sequence, you have a sequence like a map. A map, a complete map. A complete map like this. It goes like this. A complete map. Exactly like this. Sequence of numbers. Sequence of numbers. A complete map. You go again, sequence of numbers. Sequence of numbers. Like this. And it goes. A complete map. You can see a sequence of numbers. And then when it goes, that sequence of numbers represent what is called genome transcriptions of genome transcription identifier of amino acid of 3 sequence of sequential base that form in summation a proteins. And every single proteins have a specific role that they play. And every single protein is composed of a number of amino acid that are composed of bases. A and alterations in any of the amino acid sequence will generate a sickness, a genetic sickness. So when you go from ecogenetics, which is gene environment interaction, it means the influences of the environments on genome expression. It means a specific environmental chemical can have an impact on a phenotype. A phenotype is an external expression of a genome. It is external. The genome is internal. The genomes is a SNPs combinations that compose the genes. But because genes are a sequence of SNPs, and SNPs are specific marker that are similar to every person around the world. So genes are actually genome code. I can say common genome code identifiers. That's what genes are. Their similarity among people. So if it does influence your genome, a specific genome, let's say genome AA or GG or AG, and the phenotype is a specific character, let's say black skin or black hair or something like that. That's the phenotype. That's the manifestation of the genome from inside out. Okay, and then now you go from ecogenetics to epigenetics, which is the variations, the study of the variations of gene expression other than the DNA natural cellular metabolism. It means it should have come, or it should come from external influences or external irritation that are called exogenous influences from environmental chemicals. That's epigenetic there. Now, you can also have endogenous irritations of gene expression, in which you have chemical alterations, mean the formations of a wrong base in a specific marker of an helix or a strand that will form a wrong amino acid, therefore a wrong proteins. If a wrong protein is formed, it will function differently than the normal mechanism. Therefore, the person will have some form or sort of sickness, genetic sickness. You can also have, through endogenous influences, malfunctions of the genome transcription and translation, pretty much expressions. Endogenous, chemical, endogenous through chemical instability. Chemical instability means you can have a missing base in any marker. When you have a missing base in any marker, you as well have a wrong formation of an amino acid. Therefore, if you have a wrong formation, a wrong amino acid form, you have a wrong protein form. Because everything is numbers, the way God created it, they are all numbered accordingly. If you don't have a base form in a marker, you're going to have a wrong amino acid form. Therefore, a wrong marker. God knew something like that can happen. Therefore, he put in place a mechanism in which the genome expression create what is called RNA enzyme. RNA enzyme are there as they're pretty much like a DNA, but their functions are to repair any chemical instability or chemical alterations of the DNA expression. So they come up with a sequence of 3 because an amino acid is made out of a sequence of 3 base. So a thymine will be replaced by a uracil. So you're going to have adenine, uracil, and guanine, or adenine, uracil, and cytosine. So because the T will be replaced, and any place where you have any missing base form, that RNA will replace it. If it was a T that was missing, it will become a U, and it will as well form a similar amino acid, therefore a similar protein. The same thing if you have a chemical alteration, is very, very difficult as well, because you have a formation of a wrong base in a wrong marker, in a wrong marker. Therefore, it will be very tough to be replaced, but it can be done to put it in the right place. So imagine, that's how God did it. So you have those RNA that go around every single helix like a laser. They scan your DNA molecule every single second. They do exactly like this. Let me show it to you again right here. They do exactly like this. They go around like this, and they do this, and they go and they scan the DNA molecule. They scan it to see if there's any error. If there's any error, they fix it. What person can create that kind of science? If it can only be God. You tell me. No one. No one. A simple cell, a form of amino acid. Last time I said to you, if you take a cell, you open its membrane inside the water, you let all the amino acid out that are made of a combination of multiple bases. You see if that will form a complete cell altogether. It cannot. But all those amino acids inside a cell have the potential of forming divide You have a cell divide each other, reach a certain number, and start forming a living organism based on the type of cell that was placed there. It's like when you have a fetus, a new cell. It's the same thing. New cell, you have the sperm cell, you have the egg cell. The sperm cell come with 23 pair of chromosomes. The egg sperm come with the eggs. The eggs come with 23 pair of chromosomes. The 23rd pair are the reproduction pair. One DNA, DNA comes from the X chromosome of the female side of the eggs, and another DNA come from the second pair of chromosome of the eggs. That will give a formation of the X chromosome of the new eggs right there. Now if the person is a female, in the sperm, one DNA will come from the X chromosome of the sperm, and one DNA will come from the Y chromosome of the sperm. So you're going to have the formation of the second chromosomes of that female. That will give you the first chromosome. If you have a male, what will happen is it will be the same thing, but the dominations will be the Y chromosomes. But it will have pretty much the same DNA on it, but with the Y chromosomes as dominant to identify the gender. That's what it is. And then when you have that X form with only one chromosomes, it multiply, form two chromosomes. It divide again, form 4 chromosomes. Divide again, form 6 chromosomes. Pair into the form an entire 23 pair of chromosomes, and that's one cell. When one cell is formed, you start having divisions of cells. It becomes through the process of autosomal, you have 23 pair of chromosomes. Now when 23 pair of chromosomes are formed, you have a complete cell, the new eggs, and it starts dividing. That's why it takes a time from 0 second from when it started to 9 months. It starts forming, dividing each other. The cell dividing each other, forming cell for specific organs, and they all start coming together into that entire process, that entire time, to form a simple person. When you see that baby form, that baby have 150 billion cells that came from only one single cells. 150 billions human cells from one cells through a process of only 9 months. And 9 represent God, completion, sublime completion. Sublime completion. That's what the number 9 means. It represents God. So you have 150 billion cells. Final. Without counting 150 billion bacterial cells that are formed as well. And when you combine 150 billion bacterial cell plus a 150 billion cell, it gives you 1 trillion cells. When you see that new baby born right there, then through those new cells, the new formation of the newborn, you start seeing the growth based on the genome code from both parent, eggs and sperm. The characteristics start forming, and that person start developing in time according to God's plan. It is a context in which no man have any comprehension. We can only manage it from God, for God. That's all we can do. That's all we can do, my friend. But there is more. There is a science that is bigger. Through spiritual technology, to meta code, to soul particles, there's more to learn. But at the end, the only thing we have to do is only believe on the Creator, the unknown that is not presenting himself to us, but is there. He doesn't, thank you, he doesn't have to present himself to people. But you just have to believe in him. You believe in him, you're good. If you believe in him, if you believe that this is your God, this is your Adonai, your master, the only God, the God, the creator, the absolute creator of all, who observe every single movement of people, therefore you have no problem. Your money, your fame, give all to him. I understand people like to be proud. People wanted to show themselves. It is me. But without him, you have nothing. Matter of fact, you don't even know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. If you start having that certainty, why not just say it? I better just believe on your own. Because I don't have any clue. With all the money I have and all the doctor, how I'm still going to die. So just believe into him. The fame, all of this. God is willing and God is poised to listen to her from people like you. Don't go there and start saying, God, I have given money to this person. I have given money to this person. Therefore, you glorify yourself. You go there, whatever money you have. You go in your closet. You wear simple clothes. And you pray simply. God will listen to you more better than you ever imagined. You're even going to be surprised. You'll be very surprised. Yeah, it is very simple. I just hope, I saw people out there, they wanted to get to know who's God, how God function. People are blessed. People have sometimes some gifts that are very important to share with the world and give back into people by glorifying God. Their work will glorify the presence and existence and power of the Creator. That's what it is. Look around and say, yes, I understand. This is America. It is the powerful country around the world. They are still suffering. They are poor. They are rich. They are middle class. Like pretty much everywhere around the world. The difference is that the range and the wage differ, but it's the same reality. Then you look, you said, I have all of these. We have all of these. But we still have a lot of troubles. We don't have control of nothing. The country is still going into debt, and debt. Every single time that time goes on, we are all in debt. You driving your car out there. I want to warn you. You own $90,000 into this government. You probably don't know that. So we have problems. The country owns about 23 trillions, 25 trillions. If you divide that by 350 million people who live in this country, everybody owns money. So at the end, you just give all to God. You can live your life, enjoy your life, but it is Him who can solve your problems. People are gonna say, why have He not do that for you? Well, you can see me. Do I look like a miserable person? Even if I'm miserable, I'm still alive. I can assure you, I'm taken care of accordingly. It is not easy, but it is the way He functions. But this is just the beginning. You don't know the end. Alright? There are people who are rich today will end up to be broke. There are people who are broke today will end up to be rich. I'm not broke. I am going into the process. Okay? It's something that we have to know. Because I see a lot of people out there. They are all, when I see them walking, they are walking with the love of what they possess. And they use that as a holding power to see them fit into the society. Which for me and in comprehension into the heavens is not the best approach. You should have your shoulder up even if you only have a bike. The point for you is that, well, I'm moving into the direction in which God would like me to live a life and put knowledge into the truth above everything and understanding how I function. There are certain people that is tomorrow, God take the access away, they will die. Trust me. They'll say the life is over. I used to live with $100. I can only live with $1. But if you look closely, you will see that there's somebody out there who's living with less than $1. So you really don't even have a problems. You just have a temporary situations. They never show you a person that you look at situation and you say to God, thank you, even if you were crying the night before. I better stay with mine. There are people who have situations like that. You there crying, you have a place to go put your head. At least you have a car where you can grab in, even if the car is squeezing, even if it's an old car. There are people out there who are looking even for that. They don't. If somebody is stuck somewhere, he have to collect 1/4 just to get a bus. Right? Compared to you who have a car, but you are thinking how you have to manage for gas for next week. You don't have an immediate problems. I mean, you can still fix it. Compared to a person that is cold out there, but he's fine, he's looking for 1/4 so he can get back. There are people like that. You'll be surprised. Maybe one never came into your window or to you. Now when a person comes like that to you, you'll be glad to give it to him and like, damn, I thought I have a problem, but this is something else. You'll be very glad about your situation. You know, so if you're crying, saying to God that my situation is enough, God, I have enough, He gonna say to you, what about Moses? What about Abraham? What about Noah? What about Jacob? What about Joseph? What about Daniel? What about Jesus Christ? What about, he can even say, Prophet Muhammad? What about Ishmael? What about, he can say about all those people. Because those people went through a situation in which they have to believe in God to move into the unknown. If you can go for 2 years, 1 year, 3 years, and you start screaming because of a problem, it means you don't know God. Because of a situation. There is always a person who have a worse scenario more than you. Somewhere in this world. But he's also praying to the same God. People who are in power, who are still there, after years after years, after years after years after years after years after years, they have to know that they are still there because God wants them to be there. But they have to keep something in mind. God is a God of balance. He will keep you where you are up to the time He has designated for you. But depending on how you're going to act into that time, He will balance everything after that time is over. I want those in power to know that it is a fact, it is a reality, and it is what will happen, you want it or not. You are there because He wants you to be there. Things will happen, but you're still going to be there. But after that, He will balance stuff according to how you manage the time he put you there. You have to keep it in mind. Being there do not mean that you are exempt from the equation of balance. You're not. You're just doing his time, because with you there, it is the right time for you to be there, not a different person, based on the algorithm of previous incarnations and present life and future life. But depending on how you have managed it, he will balance everything after the process. So do your best to manage well. That's all, according to his plans. And I have said, according to God, who created me, who created all of us, I have been given a covenant with God. I will not force my relation with people anymore, exclusively with the opposite sex. If somebody wanted to contact me, they know how to reach me. If you don't contact me, don't worry. It only means one thing. God has not touched your heart to think of me. There's somebody else out there he has for you. And leave me to them alone. I can live like this for years and years, decade or dozen years. When God will touch the heart of a person that will have a feeling for me, that person will come into my path like a movie. So leave me alone. You should have a good night stuff. I don't need that. Enjoy your night and stop being miserable saying to people have a good night. Because a person who is busy doing his right stuff at night will even be tired saying to other people have a good night. It means something is missing in your life. Call into God. He will help you. There are many folks like that around. I just don't know what's going on with them. It is the covenant I have. And I speak clear. I don't want people to think I'm not clear in my thinking. I am clear in my thinking. I am contempt in what I'm saying. I mean what I'm saying, and I'm saying what I'm meaning because it comes from the covenant. I will not force relationship with any opposite sex. You wanted to contact me, you know how to contact me. You don't, it means it was not meant to happen. Leave it alone. You can look at me and say, check your head, look up and move on. I'm going to blame you for that. Because when you look up, you say, God, you only know what's going on. Then you move on. The day God going to touch your heart, you're going to move without even knowing what you're doing. That's what it is. When you start forcing something, it is your conscience that is doing that, not God will. But when you do stuff that you cannot explain, that's God will. In your consciousness. In your conscience, that's God will. If you cannot explain that, that's what it is. So I stay in my place. I stay in my privacy and confidentiality. If I say hi to you, you're lucky. If you believe I will move to do whatever you're thinking, it will never happen. I will be in pure violations to my covenant with the divine being. And I'm very clear. If you're doubting me, time will answer that. And I hope that you don't waste your time, because I'm prepared mentally. That's all. You guys have a very good week, and I hope that Adonai, Elohim, YahWeh bless the entire earth and bless people for peace, for this new year coming, and for people to have more of the truth, and people stop faking, being truthful. Even if you hurt, it is good moving forward. Politely, peacefully, speaking the truth, one another is a good thing moving forward. I believe that God would like people to live like that, because by the truth, everybody look at other person with no shame, and you know you have done what you're supposed to do. That's what it is. Not like God show up and you start saying we cannot come forward because we're naked. God will ask you, how do you know you're naked? Because the serpent came and flattered you. Be straightforward with people. Straightforward like God. I don't like this. This is what I like. I don't want this. I don't want this. Moving forward. That's what it is. If a person don't like it, they're going to find somebody else who will. The truth will come in front of their face tomorrow and they'll find out. That's what it is. You can visit me on my website, www.njohmadefounded.org. You can also get me on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, YouTube as well, LinkedIn, G+, and many other social media out there. You can email me. You can even contact me by phone or text message if you want. You gotta be progressive. People will call me for stuff that don't make sense. I don't answer that. Okay, so we need to stop suffering from inside. We need to start being straightforward. Right? Straightforward. You straightforward according to the law, politely and peacefully. No problem at all. Sleep in peace, you move forward. That's what it is. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your time. Go to my website and read more and see how you can partner, you can contribute into my work, moving onward into medical, pharmaceutical, and innovative technology vision that I'm planning to design. I'm designing already, implement, and evaluate in time to come for future generations. Thank you very much. Auf Wiedersehen and au revoir and goodbye.